So we have three candidates that are running for vice president membership. I'm going to give you the overview. They're Patrick Melkin, Peter Sandhu, and Keith Plowman. And Patrick and Peter send their regards and regrets that they couldn't be here today. But we do have Keith Plowman. Keith, why don't you come up here? And Keith has a very interesting story. He's a committed conservative, and we've seen him in action. You just didn't realize that he was moving and doing. That's your microphone right there. What we're going to do is going to give every candidate 3 to 5 minutes to introduce themselves, and then we might have a few questions, or I might have a few questions. Other than that, then we'll move on to the next group. Thanks, Keith.
You mentioned it's like having a conversation, so let's get comfortable and I'll see if I can introduce myself to you guys. My name's Keith Plowman. I am a business owner and part-time hobby farmer. I spend my time between Athabasca, Alberta and Fort McMurray and now Calgary, so put a lot of miles on that old truck. Married to my beautiful wife Kelly. We have 5 children and 2 grandchildren, so we're doing our part to the population. Absolutely. Someone asked me earlier, why are you doing this? And I said, well, I've got a lot of board experience. I'm the president of the Fort McMurray Construction Association. I've served on 3 different CA boards, currently with Athabasca Barhead Westlock. I'm on the Provincial Alberta Construction Association as a director, Chamber of Commerce, a lot of different volunteer experience. Anyways, all that just to say that this board position isn't going to take a lot of learning Robert's Rules of Order and those kind of things. I understand the way it functions and how that works. So I think my skill set is going to allow me to move into that position quickly. So that's a bit about who I am. So why am I here? I look around the room and hear some of the stories that I've heard, and my story is very similar, I think, to yours. The last few years, especially since COVID, I've been pretty disgusted with how politics worked. It seemed like, use the word tyranny, it seemed like that. It seemed like the policies were from on high and MPs and MLAs were there to convince us how to be and how to think. And we really didn't feel like we had a choice of our own on what to do and how to think. And to me, that's completely back-asswards. When I look at the way the government should work, it should be us as the membership, as the constituents, developing that mandate, giving it to our MLAs, them getting together in a big room, the legislature, talking about it, and coming up with our rules and regulations and laws. That's how it should work. So, to me, it's all about the membership. And that's why I'm running for a VP membership. If I'm elected to this position, if and when I'm elected to this position, I've got basically 4 things that I'd like to see happen. The first thing, I think we need a culture change on how we look at membership. So being part of a membership organization, we constantly are doing strat plans about what will benefit the member. And to me, when I look at our party, there's only 2 times that we sell memberships. Nominations and leadership reviews. And everything else in between is basically forgotten about. And to me, that's not a benefit to the member, that's a benefit to the MLAs and the leader. At one point, we had 125,000 members during the last leadership review. I think the current membership sits at between 50 and 60,000 somewhere. That's less than half. So where did all those people go? Why are we not having their voices heard and listening to them? So I think we need to shift that culture away from just doing it at a nomination event or fundraiser and have the membership be a priority throughout the entire time, not just the election cycle. Yeah. Second thing, dedicated membership drives. So when I think about that, again, we do fundraisers, we do leadership reviews. Is there not other ways that we can attract and bring members in? So I was thinking about it today. There was a little event called the Injection of Truth. If you guys have ever heard of that. It doesn't have to be that. It can be sporting events. It can be whatever. It's wherever you're talking to your friends and family and you can share a little bit about what makes you tick. That's the time that we should be pushing for membership. So a dedicated membership drive that is nothing to do with fundraising or leadership race. Third thing, youth. So I was at the Lacombe Big Tent event, and at the end, the lady that was giving out the prizes did a little experiment. So she said, everyone over 80, would you please stand up? And there was a couple of people that stood up. So then she said, okay, everyone, 70 to 80, and a few more people stood up. 60 to 70, even more people stood up. 50 to 60, just about everybody stood up. And then she said, everyone below that, stand up, and there wasn't very many. Like we need a succession plan, right? Like our opposition, they have this figured out. They're getting the ideologies in the school, they're going from when the kids are very small. I'm not saying that we need to do that, but we need to have a succession plan to get youth involved again in this party. Or, you know, once this gray hair turns even grayer, there's going to be nobody left here. The last thing I've been thinking about, and I did a lot of door knocking in Fort McMurray during the last election, and it's the ease of selling memberships. And I know there's lots of people out there probably saying, that's elections, Alberta, they govern it. But you just said we got rid of the tabulators for the elections. There's got to be a way that we can sell memberships easier without having to have an electronic copy of it. Or, you know, I'll just give you a story of how I came to that conclusion. So you go to someone's house, you're door knocking, and they say, okay, you know what, I love your ideas, I want to become a member. So you say, well, here's my phone, can you just put your credit card number in here for me? Right? Like, no one wants to do that. And then they say, well, I'll do it later on my computer after you're gone, and guess what? They don't ever do it. So we need to change that. If people want to become members, we need to make it easier for them. So yeah, my name's Keith Plowman, I'm running for membership. If you have any questions,
I have several.
Wandering around.
This will be no surprise to anybody. So Keith, I heard you basically describe your first 3 points as building community. And when I combined, and what I heard from Jack was about the 6 pillars of conservatism. Are you suggesting that membership in and of itself should demonstrate to our communities regularly what conservative values are? And by demonstrating those conservative values, we actually attract people who want to visually and emotionally and by membership-wise say, I am conservative.
Absolutely, I agree with that. And so I just had another thought while you were. Membership, increasing membership benefits our communities to a great extent. Like when you think every time you sell a membership, every time your membership grows, you grow your volunteer base, right? And if you grow your volunteer base, you grow your reach out into the community. Once that reach grows out into the community, guess what? We're winning some of those seats back in Calgary. We're winning some seats in Edmonton. The more membership you have, the more volunteers that are out there, the better chance we have at winning some of these races in some of these places where right now the NDP has a stronghold.
Big round of applause. Keith Plowman, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll vote for you.
Thank you for coming all the way down from Athabasca or Fort McMurray. I'm not sure where you were earlier today, but it's amazing for you to come here. Thank you.